Thank you very much for honoring me to be here as one of your distinguished speakers. I have to digest this for a second and say I love to be here today. I love talking and I love telling stories. So thank you, honorable, distinguished guests, and lovely audience here. Our gun laws in Georgia: no state permit required, no firearm registration, no assault weapon law, no magazine capacity restriction, no owner license required, no permit required for concealed carry, no permit required for open carry, and no background check required for private sales. Scary to live here, right? Well, it was a sultry, usual summer day in Atlanta, July 29, 1999. Today, Dean was to attend a second chance birthday party at our daughter's pre-K, literally only 3 miles from his work. He missed her birthday party the day before. Our son called my clinic at midday multiple times. This last time he said, "Mom, please listen." He said, "It's the exact floor and the exact suite where Dad works." At 5:30, Dad had not picked up our daughter, and his phone was dead. In the meantime, our son, in frustration and fear, proceeded to the site of the shooting. After some 5 hours, all helicopters ceased to fly over the crime scene. The sheriff walked up to him with a wallet, which he identified. He was told to proceed home to his mom. Late that night, as cars and people gathered in the hot evening in the driveway of our construction site, a pastor visited our tiny temporary garage apartment with balloons everywhere in the apartment. And with my 2 children by my side and several family members, he says to me, "Mrs. Delawala, I'm sorry, your husband has passed." I felt dizzy, as though my heart would stop. All life drained out of my body. In a second, our world had stopped. Each day was a challenge. There was not enough love to offer the kids. Just looking at their sad faces every day was painful. Trying to pick up the pieces was chaos. In a split second, our innocent lives, like those of the other 9 fallen, were changed forever. So many dreams were shattered. The whole city was in shock. All I could remember from Dean's funeral was my 4-year-old asking, "Daddy sleeping? Shh, Daddy sleeping?" And a memory of just lines and lines and lines of people passing for their last respects. Food and flowers, cards and calls by the hundreds. Overnight, my son became a little dad, helping to drive his little sister to school. And my beloved mother moved here from Canada to provide vital support. And incidentally, my sister and brother-in-law had just immigrated from the United Kingdom. And my little daughter would draw pictures of the family, but Dad would be laying on the floor. Later, she drew Dad happily flying among the clouds. She would play hide and seek and say, "Daddy, I'm here, look at me, I'm here," like Dad would mysteriously appear. Ladies and gentlemen, several birthdays have passed since. So why now, after 25 years, am I here? Well, as much as I would like to be in denial, and for all of you who might say, it can't happen to me, well, it happened to us. We were to install a very sophisticated security system in our new home. Dean had visited his nephew's convenience stores just day before to check the bulletproof shields at the cash registers. And 25 years later, mass shootings after mass shootings. We are not safe anywhere. Hospitals, grocery stores, places of worship, even schools. We just witnessed a horrific school shooting in Barrow County. In fact, I just watched on the television a mass shooting in Alabama this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, safety and security should be our right. It is painful to watch responses of some legislators, thoughts and prayers, and to watch their complicity. Hold these numbers for a minute. Almost 50,000 people die in the United States, and they died in 2022 of gun violence. Of these, 4,600 are children under 18. More children die from gun violence than any other condition in this country. Millions of children live in homes where guns are unlocked. 400 million guns in possession of American citizens. 16.7 million guns purchased in the United States in 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, in Alabama, one can buy a gun from a vending machine in a convenience store. But some good news. 98% of Americans want to see safe gun laws. Our Surgeon General, Dr. Murthy, has just declared gun violence to be a public health threat. The New England Journal of Medicine says having a gun in the house increases the risk of homicide. As a matter of fact, the bedroom being the most dangerous place in the house. So what can we do? In my profession, healthcare, we practice prevention and saving lives. Number one, we need to know our legislators. Where do we stand on safety and guns? Support only the legislators, those who openly want to do something about gun safety laws. Number two, talk about accessibility of guns, age limits, ID checks, background checks, and safe storage. Recently, a 2-year-old was left in a car alone in a car seat in the front, managed to get a gun from the glove compartment, and yes, they killed themselves in a Walmart parking lot. Banning bump stocks. These convert a gun into machine guns that fire hundreds of bullets in minutes. Banning military ammunition and assault weapons from civilian use. Also, the solution is not a good guy with a gun. Neither having more guns is a solution for safety. Other safety measures are having tax credits for mandatory gun safety education and mandatory safe storage purpose. Also having Face ID to unlock guns and easy visuals on guns to verify if a gun is loaded or not. Number three, mental health check. Mental health is a huge piece in gun violence. Almost half of the gun deaths are suicides. Getting mental health checks and clearance should be part of the licensing process for somebody to own a gun. Number four, join an advocacy group. Like every town started by the survivors of the Florida high school shootings, or Ahimsa, our local organization, or Mothers Demand Action. For us and my family, Dean was stolen from us, at a tender age of 52. So who was Dean? He was a naturalized citizen, driven by the American dream, from very, very humbling beginnings in India. His family walked for days from Gujarat during the partition to migrate to Pakistan. He was only a year old. He had an MBA and a law degree, a businessman, family man, loved by his family, and a true servant leader. We met while I was in high school and had a 6-year long-distance relationship while he was in the USA going to school and I was in Iran. I was from a village of 500 in Tanzania. My ancestry tracks down to Kutch, Gujarat. My parents were hardworking and valued education and integrity. We were expelled from Africa due to nationalization. While in high school in Pakistan, I witnessed war with India, and later in Iran, the bloody Iranian Revolution. I thought after being on the run for 10 years that I had come home to safety, security, and democracy. As I reflect upon my life today, I pay respects to my beloved mother and my very, very strong grandmothers, both widowed very early in life. My gratitude to my sister and brother-in-law. My parents made tremendous sacrifices. I often now wonder how I managed to travel unaccompanied to foreign lands in quest of an education. How I survived deadly cases of malaria and typhoid and a head-on collision with an oil tanker in Iran. Arrived here with only 6 months on my passport. Graduated medical school and residency at Emory. Carried my son to full-term pregnancy as an intern at Grady Hospital so I could quickly qualify for a green card. Had my daughter at age 42 through the miracles of modern medicine. Survived gun violence. Folded his businesses. Moved my family into Dean's new home he was building for us. Continued and excelled in private practice and beat cancer with a horrific case of flare of systemic lupus. We felt protected living in his home, and we felt his spirit guiding us through each difficult day. Having treated victims of gun violence at Grady, I never one day imagined that it would be so close to home. I'm truly a child of a village with some very special friends. Many of you are in the audience. I thank you. I often find myself questioning, is this karma? Or are these the tests that the Lord promised in the Surah Baqarah? Today, I offer forgiveness to the perpetrator. When I look at my children, the toil is definitely worth it. They put purpose in my life. I prematurely sold my practice to work full-time, pro bono, 10 years now, at a free clinic I co-founded. It's in Clarkston, Georgia. There I am amongst my own, victims of war, discrimination, persecution, ethnic cleansing, violence, widows, speaking my own 6 languages and paying it forward. But in actuality, I'm also healing in action and paying homage. My biggest fear is one day explaining to my grandchildren What happened to their grandpa, who they never met? Ladies and gentlemen, today ask yourselves, how many more loved ones, innocent children, must be slaughtered before we consider gun safety laws? It takes courage and bravery, like the Prime Minister of New Zealand, to ban assault weapons. Australia has not had a mass shooting since it banned assault weapons. I charge and challenge each one of you here today to use your voices. Please, please do that, lest we let our children lay their arms down just so we can bear arms. Thank you.